Yeah. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Backwoods Brothers. We're with my man
Tony,
and we got special guest Christine Drazan in the house.
Yes.
Hello.
Oh, wait a minute. Your most honorable Christine Drazan.
Thank you.
And you know what? I found out a hidden talent that Miss Christine Drazan has. And I would love for the world to hear it. See, we need a politician that can actually have fun. So right before the show, she showed us some talent. Are you ready for it?
Talent might be a stretch.
Okay. Well, you know what? We're going to make this real.
Okay.
Okay?
It's you. You start.
Oh, say, can you
Oh, no, I'm getting shy.
Don't say, by the
The
dawn's
dawn's
early
early
light.
light.
Come on, Joel. What so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets
No, seriously.
red
Go.
glare, the bombs bursting in air.
I'm going to the cheering. Cheering, yay, cheering, yay.
That our flag was still there. Okay, we did it! We did it!
That's it.
You guys, we would love to sing for you anytime. Put it back on my hat now.
Okay, thank you, Tony.
Yeah,
That
you're
was the best.
You are the best.
That
Here,
was the absolute
toast,
best.
toast.
Toast time.
Toast time.
Yeah, okay, toast time.
We are
Yeah.
so honored to have you on this show.
Woo, I'm so glad to be
much.
here.
Yes.
And people may have realized I have the ability to push buttons now. And so those buttons were coming from me. I don't blame Brandy for it.
Yes,
I
he's
can't
gonna be
push all the
playing.
buttons. I have very limited. She didn't give me very wide range.
Guys, he's going to be playing all the way straight through, okay?
Oh, my word.
Real fast, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Make sure to do that. You want to get your friends and your family all together here right now because we have Miss Christine Drazan. And did I say that right?
Close enough, my
No, I
friend.
didn't. I always,
Just say Drazan.
ready? Use that button. I always fuck up names.
Oh, I did not get
You
there in
missed
time.
it. You missed it.
Here, I'll push it.
Okay. I always fuck up names.
I also may have been late
There
for
we
it.
go. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. It was still there.
It was still there.
He knew you were coming.
See, you're so supportive.
I don't know
I'll
if I
tell
got
you
it in the right time.
what. Look, So,
No, I didn't. Producer says I did not hit it the right time.
yes. So, like, share, and subscribe. We're now on Patreon. We're now on Spotify. So, you want to listen to this on Spotify as well.
Yes.
You also want to check out our website and also check out Pissed Off Patriot. You want to say some more, brother?
Well, they'll see a little bit there. We're doing a little bit different this time. We do not have a center break anymore.
Yeah.
So if you have to go to the bathroom, tough.
Turn yellow.
Yeah. Hope you got a cup nearby.
Yep, right.
Anyways, hey, so guys, we brought Christine in because not only was she a representative, but you recently resigned as a representative for
Yes.
what purpose?
I did. I recently resigned to run for governor as the Republican nominee for governor.
Yeah!
Woo!
Crowd cheering! Crowd cheering!
Yes! Yay!
Good thing I didn't hit the other button.
It was
He's having
close.
so
It
much
was
fun.
close.
So yeah, so that's absolutely amazing. And so we've had a couple other mayors, governor candidates on here, and it's actually been quite a bit of fun.
So
Good.
much fun.
I'm
and-
already having fun.
Yes.
Yes.
She came in, she came in, and she goes, you guys told me you were in a garage, not a studio.
I know, this is legit.
This is legit.
Yes,
This is
yes.
legit.
Okay.
She also decided to hug the heater too because
I did.
it's a garage.
I did.
not very warm.
Yes, that's why she has her coat on, right?
It's still February.
It's still
Yes.
Still
February.
February.
Yes.
In Oregon.
Yes, in Oregon.
Yep.
It could change tomorrow.
But what we're gonna when we start heating up on the questions and stuff, she'll probably get like,
Ooh, that's great.
yes. We got all the secret hidden questions. Not really though.
I'm ready. Bring it.
We'll be nice. So, but yeah. So Christine, why don't you tell us a little bit about why you decided to run for governor?
Yeah, you guys, our state needs help.
It does.
You feel it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
we are in this tough spot as a
Yeah.
state right now where Oregonians know that You know, we're having a tough time with our communities. Too many people are sleeping on our streets.
Yeah.
And we have too much crime. Crime's going through the roof in Portland. We feel it in our smaller towns too.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, but our schools are a complete mess right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I could not be more excited for the fact that masks are going to go away in our schools.
I heard about that today.
But it should have been today. It should not be March 31st.
Yes, March 31st.
Right? We
yeah.
shouldn't have to keep waiting for these things. The mandates have got to go away.
They've got.
But
Yeah.
you guys, I saw as the representative for this community what it was like inside Salem with single party control, and it didn't serve folks.
Yeah, and that's a part I think is always a problem is single party control because then it kind of misses out on the capability to have both sides represented.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean,
Absolutely.
I get the certain agendas. Everybody wants to get their pieces out,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm all about trying to find a way to work together.
Yeah.
It doesn't always work out. I mean, I'm on city council, so
You
I've
feel
learned-
it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I mean, I try to do what I can to find some way to
Yeah.
compromise when we can, and so it's
Yeah.
and from what I hear, there's not much desire for compromise. And,
Well, it's simple math. If they don't have to compromise with you right now, they're not going to do it.
Yep.
And that doesn't serve folks. Oregon needs accountability. We need balance. We need change. We need to get on the right track. And right now, we're not there.
Mhm.
And running for governor is a way to really, really support my state and do everything I can to give people their government back.
Yes. Yes.
So I'm going to ask you the hard question right off the bat here.
Let's hear it.
There's 15, I think, or 16 now candidates running.
Yeah.
It keeps changing, so it's hard to keep track
It
anymore.
does keep changing.
What is one thing that you can say right now that sets you out above all the rest?
I I have more experience than anybody else on that list to better understand and know exactly how to get rolling on day one.
Uh-huh.
I am a day one girl.
Yes.
And I absolutely believe that on day one you can step into that office and that role, and I can step in and I can revoke the mandates and the executive orders, and I can demand that our agency heads turn in their resignations, and we're going
Tony
to
is
have
very
a hard
excited over there.
conversation
I was going to say
about
though.
the future of our state.
Yes, yes. You're not going to do the what do you call them? The executive orders like we've known it done in the past. Where
Oh,
zoop,
no.
zoop, zoop. Just
Oh,
it's a piece
what?
of paper here.
So
zoop.
you're not going to be like our new leader out here, and you're not going to be
Don't
sitting with
say
your little desk out there signing 100 executive
little
orders on your
desk.
first little bit there.
Yes.
You know, what's beautiful is that I get to tear up executive orders in that job. So, guys, just
make it good.
Just picture it.
Apparently,
just picture it.
Yes.
if you're the Speaker of the House, you can
You can-
tear up executive orders and stuff right in public
Right.
television.
Yeah.
Well, in this case, the new governor, Governor Drazan, is going to tear up Governor Brown's executive orders.
And the cheer
I-
crowd goes wild.
Here, let me
Yeah,
get it. Let me get it
yeah.
for you.
Oh,
Let me get it for you. There it goes.
You know, your biggest thing that you want to address first is the issues of school.
yeah.
And I was very impressed with what I
Yes.
heard about
Yeah.
that.
I'm a mom of 3.
Yeah.
And I've been involved in my kids' schools, and I know how hard it is. I know how hard it was for our family anyway during these COVID shutdowns. I mean, I have a freshman in high school now,
Yes.
but during that whole distance learning thing, she was a middle schooler trying to learn geometry by playing a video over and over and over again. And it just changed things. It changed things at our house. It changed things for her. It was horrible to watch. And it was not good enough for her, and I don't think it's good enough for your kids.
Of course
It's not good enough for any of our kids.
the-
So we need in-person, full-time, permanently in-person, full-time. We need to give parents more say.
Yeah.
We need to give parents more choices, and we need to support our kids.
Well, I think there's a big piece that's constantly was missed out of that too, and that was the social interaction piece.
There
Yeah,
it
it's
is.
huge.
There
Yeah,
it is.
I mean, it's if you're homeschooling, people say, "Oh, well, your homeschoolings don't get that same option," but they have the sports and things they can go to.
Yeah.
But even those weren't even options, so
They weren't.
everybody was home.
Yeah.
And you
so-
addressed that. You addressed that in your video about the sports being distanced,
Yeah.
canceled, if you
You
will.
can't do that to our kids.
Yeah.
You're sacrificing an entire generation of kids. And that as it turns out, that wasn't based on science.
Yeah.
You know, they're not
Yeah.
at risk.
Shocking!
I know.
Shocking!
I know.
It's like
I know.
no one said that or anything, you know?
Right.
We're
It's
gonna,
like-
we're gonna follow
We've
the
never done
science until we're not gonna follow the
The
science.
science.
Yeah.
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 Well,
And then tell us to follow science.
Right.
Yeah.
Political science.
Political science. Exactly.
A
Yeah.
couple of our fans out there say hi, Miss Drazan, or Mrs. Drazan, I think is what it says.
Yeah.
Hello.
And it says, "I hope you win Mrs. Drazan." and then hashtag on day one. I'm not really sure what that is.
Oh,
On day one.
yes.
On day one.
I know what that is. Go,
Yes.
Yep.
So, I mean, that's the day one agenda.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. And the day one agenda is you immediately lift the mandates, and you revoke the vaccine mandates,
Yeah.
and you support law enforcement on day one.
Oh.
Oh,
And okay, guys, come on.
Come on.
Schools, law enforcement mandates.
on.
Day one, friends. Day one.
Well, for Portland, let's put resource officers back in school.
Oh,
There's
yes,
that.
exactly.
There is that. But I can't even get enough people who want to be police officers right now.
No.
Because they don't feel supported. And we have got to turn that around and recognize we're going to have safer communities when we are fully staffed up and law
Yes.
enforcement once again is appreciated and supported. We can't treat our cops like they're the criminals
Yes.
and expect that anybody was willing to be
What
a
to do?
cop.
Yes.
exactly. I mean,
Can't do it.
Since we started acting like that a couple years ago, what's the crime rate now? Gone up in Portland 980% or something.
Murders are all time high. It's scary,
Yeah.
scary,
Guys,
scary business.
Is that really a big shocker to us?
Well,
If you take
Yeah.
away law, then you have
Mhm.
lawlessness.
yeah.
And it's just, yeah.
Well, I mean,
Is that
in-
an agenda? I don't know.
What I don't get is did nobody that was in leadership down there actually like open up a history book, because law's been all the way back as far as you can go back even into the Egyptian Roman eras.
Yes.
The
You
laws
need law.
you've
Yeah.
had you've had
Mhm.
the what do they call that? Not the I forget the what they call the police back then. There was the Roman soldiers, but they call them a Pollinax or something like that. Pollinax or Pharanax, something along those lines. Anyways, but it's a person that basically they were there, they'd stand on the street corner, and their job was to enforce the law.
Yeah.
I mean, that's only back in historic Roman days.
Yeah.
I mean, go back even further back into Egypt, and they had the pharaoh's soldiers that would be called upon to enforce the law. Law has been around forever. I mean, to suddenly come and go, oh, screw thousands of years of
Right.
experience. We know it's better suddenly in 2020. No, sorry, we don't.
Mm-hmm.
What do we, I hate to say this, but why don't, and I love the Haitian people, but why don't we take a page out of the book of lawlessness there and see what people are doing under that rule of law and suffering and big time. So law is important.
Yeah, we
The
need.
rule of law is and order are
Yeah,
important.
and we're a country. We're a country that's dependent on the rule of law, and we should enforce our laws evenly. There should not be some version of enforcing our laws that's political.
Yep.
If somebody commits a crime, we have to have accountability if we're going to have safety.
Yeah.
It's not complicated.
Exactly. So, well, we're kind of right up against our first little sponsor break here, so we're going to go ahead and try this and see how it works. This is the new thing for us, so bear with us, everybody on the
Yay,
other side.
sponsor
Okay.
break.
So we're going to go ahead and have a word. We actually have a really good place here in town. We eat pizza at. You ever been to Hitch and Post Pizza, Donnie?
Okay, I'm going to admit I haven't been to the Hitch and Post.
It's our
Don't
favorite
focus
place.
me. I'm going to go see it now.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely.
Yes.
Best pizza
I'm going
in
to take
town.
you to Hitch and Post.
Okay, we're
Yes,
on our way.
definitely. So go and take a look at this from our sponsors. Hey guys, thank you for taking a moment to take a look at their Hitch and Post.
Joel, that was so good, bro.
Oh,
That
yeah,
pizza,
yeah, we ate that.
Christine-
We ate that in 30 seconds.
Christine beat us in pool.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
she was like,
that was actually her shooting the pool. Yeah.
yes. Oh, I wasn't supposed to say that. Not only can she sing, but she can shoot pool and do politics.
Amazing.
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 We may have tricked Christine into singing on record. Some other songs.
Did you say record?
On record.
On record. There we
On
go.
record.
It-
On
it-
record.
that may-
oh.
That
Yeah.
may or may not, if she lets us, come up on our Patreon site. So you'll have to see that.
Oh.
If she lets us, we'll see. So if you're not a Patreon subscriber, now it's a great time to go become a Patreon subscriber and support the show. This is pop out with one of the questions we have pre-written for you ahead of time, so that we know exactly what we want to ask you.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you a hint. This one involves COVID, crime, culture, economics, and homeless, all in one question.
So alliteration. COVID, crime, culture.
I
Attack those
love
dogs.
that.
No,
Public crime
no.
culture.
With the
And go.
state's COVID response having such an impact on our state's culture and economics, causing a spike in crime and homelessness, how would you go about addressing these issues?
You can trust me to lead with facts and not fear. Let's just
Ooh.
start there. because
Love
that has been how COVID has been managed.
Mhm.
Is that instead of just sharing facts with Oregonians and saying, this is what I know, and these are the recommendations, instead we had leaders who stepped in and said, listen, you just have to do what I say, or people that you love and care for are not going to survive this.
Yeah.
That's operating from fear.
Yes.
This COVID's real. COVID, in fact, has harmed people, has harmed families, has
Yes.
taken lives. And all of that is true. And it's also possible to navigate that and lead through that
Mhm.
in a way that respects people and shares information without creating an entire generation of kiddos that are terrified. I mean, we are raising our kids right now to, in fact, be behind a mask and be afraid and feel like they're responsible so that they, can keep their grandparents healthy and safe. And that breaks my heart. We have an obligation to each other, but we should not live our lives in constant fear.
I think there was another government form that led by fear. I think they call it dictatorships.
We had a command control here in Oregon, didn't we?
Yeah, very much so. We still kind of do in some ways.
We still do. We're close though to not having that anymore.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
I mean,
The election's coming.
Yes,
Definitely.
it is coming. It is coming.
You would think when the science isn't supporting it for nationwide, that,
Yes.
and the rest of the nation is doing the opposite, that
Yes.
our one state would have some common sense to open it
Mhm.
up. But unfortunately, common sense is kind of gone at the top level.
You mentioned kids, and
Yeah.
kids at an all-time high
Yeah.
are ending their lives.
Yes.
One can say for multiple reasons, but one thing I believe is that as we isolate kids,
Mm,
and the more and more we isolate kids, it creates kids with conduct disorder. It creates kids with
yeah.
oppositional fight because they're
Mm.
angry because you've taken the social aspect out of their lives.
Mhm.
So you're going to get that. When you
Yeah.
rule by fear, begets more fear,
Mm.
begets more fear.
Mhm. I keep thinking about what this experience was like at our house, and my teenagers, I can remember having these conversations with them where they were saying, we're home,
Mhm.
but I want to be in school. And I would say, well, when you were in school, I remember you complaining about not wanting to be in school, right? Like,
Yes.
but
You remember that day?
Yeah, like I remember that was us, right? We
That
were
was
having
before
this
they were
conversation.
out for a year.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then they would say, well, nothing is happening to me.
Yeah.
And it was the revelation. There was a whole period of time where nothing happened to our kids. They didn't learn about themselves. They didn't get to know other people. They didn't challenge their character. They didn't overcome, social situations and navigate anxiety in ways that, help them grow. They had a year where they were just frozen.
Yeah. But Chrissy, it almost sounds like the onus is put on the school, though, to create social, academic environments. You know where I'm going with this, right?
Yes.
Where does parental controls take place?
Oh, parents have got to be the center of decision making around our own kids, right? We know our kids, we know their needs.
Definitely.
And we know when something isn't helping them and is actually hurting them. We know when they need change.
Yes.
Parents need to have more say. We need parents involved in our schools more. Okay, a lot of families right now are talking to me about concerns about now that there was distance learning, they could actually see what their kiddos were learning, and they were surprised, and they had concerns. And I looked into it a little bit. Did you know that any parent at any time can ask to see curriculum?
Yes, definitely. I think we requested it a couple times.
Did you get it?
It was a little more difficult, but we finally got it.
Mhm.
And when you got it, what did you think? Were you satisfied?
No, not at all.
So did you feel like there was a way for you to engage on that? Talk to your school board, talk to the teacher?
We've had over the last couple of years, we've had a few conversations with all the way up to the superintendent.
Yeah.
About some conversations about what's being taught in school,
Mhm.
and one of the things, and in fact, it's one of our written questions. So I guess I'm going to throw the second one at you right off the bat because we're talking about it.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on a parent's right to opt out curriculum subjects and the ideas of school vouchers?
Yeah, that is where I was going with that.
Yes.
So you can, in fact,
That's
opt
why I said
out.
it.
You can opt out. Like if you see curriculum that you don't believe aligns with the values of your families, there's always a pathway to opt out of stuff. Now, what we don't have is an opt-in. But the real thing that we need is for parents to have more say, to have alternatives for their kiddos, to have school choice that's real, viable, and accessible to kids and families.
Governor DeSantis has already started to push a bill
Yes.
like that.
Yes. And in Oregon, we need more balance in the legislature. There's no doubt from the governor's office, I will push for more parent engagement. Like I am all about creating a parent council to advise the governor's office on education policy.
I love that.
Isn't that what we need?
Yeah.
We need permanent engagement with families. It says, okay, we need a bridge.
Yes.
You've sat in this position, and one of the things I hear a lot is that there's a heavy disconnect from those who are sitting up in legislature and those who are actually down here that are being enacted under those rules. How would you kind of cross that bridge, you think, a little bit, trying to get the legislature to come down to the level of the people that are out here living under whatever the choices they make?
Yes.
Yeah. We need to give government back to people in a way that takes special interests out of the center and puts people back in charge. And I do think you can do that by creating bridges, creating opportunities, and connecting people with their government in a way that's a lot more authentic and a lot less temporary. I mean, right now, when I was a legislator, I would get, a handful of emails on a small topic, or I would get thousands and thousands on something really controversial. But the difference maker for me is always, okay, are these folks that are my constituents? Now, as governor, everybody's my constituent, right? And everybody's voice is going to matter to me. But Portland cannot be the cookie cutter for the rest of the state. Portland gets to be Portland. And in fact, Estacada gets to be Estacada.
You said that.
Yes.
You said you're a small town girl yourself.
I'm a small town girl.
Yeah. And you said that.
Yep. And we've got to respect differences across our state, and you get that done by letting inviting more people to be a part of this conversation.
That's good.
Well, one of the things that one of our viewers was actually asking was, what are some things other than just schools that you might be making changes to when you kind of get to that stage?
Yep. And so for folks that are in our business community, I mean, oh my word.
Come on.
Oregon.
Texas.
Oregon has one of the highest tax burdens in the nation if you're a business here.
Yes.
We just saw Intel, one of our primary employers in the state, private sector employers, invest $20 billion in another state instead of us. We have got to do more to support jobs. And I don't mean supporting like these faceless corporations. I'm talking about supporting jobs. And to do that, you need to be able to have an environment where somebody can have a business, start a business, and succeed.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Over the last 2 years, with the way that they've kind of ran Portland, hasn't there been like a 40% decline in business?
My husband works downtown, and that place is empty.
Yep.
It is empty down there, and people are going out. I mean, nothing has been better for real estate in the suburbs.
Nope.
Than what's been going on right now in downtown Portland. And so, but you cannot allow your biggest city in your state to be in that level of decline long term. Your state will suffer.
That's my fear.
Yeah.
Well,
we need Portland to recover.
Well, definitely. Yeah. And the other part too that really kind of gets me, and I've learned this from sitting again in city council, is that it seems that the people that are in, for example, city council for the city, it's only people within the city limits have a right to vote what happens in that city.
Yep.
And it seems like, only people in the county are obviously going to vote the county. That makes more sense because that incorporates everybody.
Yeah.
But like Portland, they have I think if you count the whole metro area is like 1.2 or 1.4 now or something like that. That's a pretty large number.
Yeah.
That's kind of dealing, and it's a 50 miles across, 50-mile radius of the entire state, and that controls the entire state. How was there any ways that you might have to help try to balance that, or?
Well, I would say people in East County don't necessarily identify with how things are going downtown, right?
Exactly.
In Portland proper, and as much as that's the metro area, Portland itself is 700,000 people or something around that range, and so you really do have to expand out and get the other side of the river to get to those numbers. And what we need to do is to be able to support, even at that level, to support local control. So there's this local mayor. So speaking of like, what can you do for Portland? There's a local mayor that is in East County, and he also happens to be in the boundaries of Metro, who's struggling with homelessness in his community. So there's this big park there, and they've got about like 74 homeless folks that live in this park. He had a plan locally to figure out what each one of those homeless folks needed, what their challenges were, get them plugged into local services, get them moved out of the park. And his description of the situation was that Metro came in and said, you know what, we have this big homeless tax. We have a plan now, and we're gonna be the ones to help. We're gonna be the ones to do this. Your plan isn't our plan, so just cool your jets. And in the meantime, nothing has happened. We're in winter. Those folks are still living in the park. They're not getting the help they need because somebody that was local had a local solution. Even though they were part of Metro, they're in the urban portion of our state. They wanted to help a problem that they viewed as a local problem with local resources.
Yeah.
And they were stopped dead in their tracks by this next level of government that said, that wasn't our idea, so you're going to have to wait until we give you approval. That absolutely is the problem.
And I think if I was the mayor, I would have told him where to shove it.
I know, I know. But, you know, he cares about his community and wants to do what's right. And these other levels of government are getting in his way.
Yeah.
That's leadership. That's a lack of leadership.
So you speak about leadership, and leadership is very close to your heart.
Yep.
You actually, I believe you said something about establishing that and going to George Fox.
Yeah.
Did you go to a class, or did you take a class in leadership, or how did you acquire all this?
How did this happen?
Yeah.
How did this happen? I really care about making a difference.
Yeah.
And if you care about making a difference, to be able to do that, at some point you have to be willing to take on responsibility. So it's not so much that it is something that I pursued for a position or a title. It's something I pursued because I want to shoulder somebody else's burden.
You said that, and as a matter of fact, you gave a little bit of a backstory about your family and how they would sit and talk about, as all of our families do, and complain about politics. But I think there was a shift that you had to say, I'm going to do something. So
I have to do, and that's really the biggest difference. I'm originally from Klamath Falls, small town, love small town, and my family did talk all the time about the impacts of politics in our life down there. I mean, it was when the natural resource industries were really going away, and we were left with fewer jobs and fewer jobs and fewer jobs, and it was timber dependent when I was growing up. And my dad would work in a mill, and then we would move, and it was a tough upbringing for my family. My parents did the absolute best they could in tough circumstances. And then I put myself through George Fox. And when I left college, I love George Fox.
Yes.
Shout out.
Yes, George Fox.
George Fox, I know quite a few people that went there, and I think my sister went there for a short period.
A person in George Fox is trying to take my job. It's like, I went to Northwest. They would, yeah. George Fox rules.
It's all good stuff.
It's so good.
But I came out of my school there, and I wanted to find out if my family was in fact right. Whether these politicians that are elected to serve us weren't serving them, and they kind of viewed it like everybody is a little bit rotten. They're out for their own. Politicians are kind of no good, right?
Yes, the stigma.
And too often, right? Like that is how we feel. Because now we're not getting our needs met.
I mean, can you blame it with some of the politicians out there? I'm saying, can you really blame us for that?
I feel terrible. That was in front of my face on.
I was wondering if we had what? Did you receive someone? I think you received a gift.
I did.
What was that gift? Really fast.
Okay, one of my kids for Christmas gave me a Vice President Harris doll.
You almost made me spit my juice.
I'm going to admit I felt like there could have been better choices in all of the presidential and vice presidential range of,
Is she the vice president? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Yeah, she is.
So that's at my house right now.
That's awesome. A gift that keeps on giving.
Oh my gosh. I'm
gonna come to your next party.
It stares at me. It just stares at me.
That's a scary movie.
I know, it stares at me. But you guys, the thing about service, the thing about the idea that somebody would run for office, it's got to be about making a difference. It's got to be about serving others.
Yeah.
And that was the thing that I learned from my family.
Serving others.
Is that you can make a difference, and it's your obligation to do everything you can where you are to make things better for other people.
I mean, that's what we're here for. We're elected to represent the people, to be of service to the people.
Yeah.
And they don't serve us. They're not under us. It's actually, when you look at, I look at the city leadership chart, and I realized that they had it upside down. That the representatives are at the very top of everything.
Right, right.
And it's where the representatives and the city staff and everything should be at the bottom, and the people at the top.
Yep.
And I think it's been corrected since then. 'Cause I think the people are at the top.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Wow. Was it a
So-
pyramid?
I
or
love
something?
yeah,
that.
it's a pyramid. But
And they
now
flopped
if
it?
you actually look at the Estacada one now, I believe
It's reversed.
Yeah, it's reversed. The people are at the top.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Leadership from the back seat.
Yeah.
Leadership from the back seat.
Well,
Yeah.
and that's really where we're at right now in this opportunity in this election,
Wow.
is that if people don't like the direction of our state, and I feel confident that people are looking around saying this isn't good enough for any of us, we need change, they're the only ones with the power to make a difference. They're, in fact, the only ones with the power to change right now.
Well, I'm so glad you said it, Christine. I almost said representative. You're
Yeah.
way over that. But no, but that's the thing. They're like, Governor Christine, we need you to do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. Oh no, we need this, we need this, we
Yeah.
need this. Now you do it.
Yeah.
How do you inspire the people? See, this is the
Yeah.
thing. When you're talking about teachers,
Yep.
I used to be a teacher, so I'm going to speak for the teachers a little bit.
Yeah.
We wanted parents involved, but it was so
Mm.
darn hard to get them involved
Mm.
because they kind of used school in some cases for a respite
A break.
time, a break.
Yeah.
And I'm a parent too. I'm girl, get out of here. That's why I said, girl, I have an 11-year-old going on 19. Girl, get out of here. Seriously, why are you in my face? But at the same time, on the other side of it, you try to connect with parents, with teachers,
Right.
specifically parent and teacher conferences, but it
Yeah.
would be crickets.
Yeah.
So how do you inspire?
So I think that we have got to. I always try to assume the best in people,
Mhm.
and operate from a position that people are doing the best they can,
Yeah.
and that parents. I believe that parents want the best for their kids, and at the end of the day, that they will be involved, that they will be engaged, and if they feel invited, they will participate.
Yes.
And
Okay.
so I think that has
That's
got
good.
to be it. And the
That's
more I
good.
travel the state, the more what I hear from people, and is that the state doesn't have the solution to their local problems. They want to have more control locally. They want to be able
Exactly.
to set their own course,
Yeah.
and they can. And here's the thing: I respect Oregonians enough to say that you get to choose. It is this. There's so much more about where we're at right now that should be local.
Well, let me give you an example of a state problem affecting a local issue, which should make sense. Recently, the ODOT redid a bunch of stuff out here on our highway here.
224.
Yep. They did something over. We had just built a brand new parking lot, just put brand new sidewalks and crosswalks and everything in there. I think it was less than a year old.
Mm.
They came and tore out a bunch of those sidewalk pieces after we just put them in there,
Yeah.
wasting all that money, and put in some weird, crazy stuff in there
Ah.
that I think Tony has attested to that is not vision impaired friendly, because I think some of them point you out into the center of the street, don't they?
Yes, they do.
Now the
What?
one
When you're crossing, you're literally crossing
in the middle
in the
instead
middle.
of the
Yeah.
And
instead
you're
of on the crosswalk.
Yes, very cattywampus too.
Yeah, and
Ah.
the other one wasn't any better, but
No.
those ones, if they're going to spend the money to tear up what was already brand new there, might as
Mhm.
well put something in that works, right? And then there's another piece in here, which is a center medium.
Yeah.
I don't even get the purpose of it, but the people that come in through there, it's zigzags like a Z.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, if you go to Hitchin Post, it's the one right on the highway from Hitchin Post. You can see it
Okay.
there. A zigzag like a C. We have a couple community members that are handicapped,
Mm-hmm.
and they have wheelchairs, and they can't get through that area. They tried to get through. They're not even able to take their chairs through there.
Oh no.
And it's supposed to be for quote unquote handicap accessible.
Okay, you said it twice. I had to
Oh yeah,
correct
but
him.
please correct me.
No, I'm not going to correct you for real. I just love to do it right now.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I'm going to get it later.
There's a word
It's
I'm supposed to be using.
disabled, but now they changed it. I don't know what it is. now.
I'm sorry. This is where they
Differently able.
Differently able.
It's going to change tomorrow. So you got to learn it tomorrow.
For those for our friends out there that I apologize. It is differently able. That's what I should have been using.
But you know what? We're not into PC, so you're okay.
Yes.
I just had to pull it out.
Yes, but I still want to say sorry,
Yeah.
John. So either way, here we'll do this for him.
Is that the crying brigade?
No,
I'm
no.
really happy.
Oh, that was a laughing one.
Wait,
That was a
wait,
laughing
wait. I haven't done this yet.
Okay.
Oh,
Do the crying brigade.
This is the one I
oh,
want.
there it goes.
Oh! It lands right in front of Christine.
It does. It
It
does.
comes right up. Ooh, that might be
don't forget, we
prophetic.
actually got you this one too. Don't forget that.
That might be prophetic.
This one's
Ooh.
lovely too.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah,
Butterfly
I like
in
that
the
one too.
sky.
But we actually got some questions from our viewers, and
Nice.
I wanted to I had to use that button. I've
Yeah, I'm
been
glad you
waiting,
did.
I've been waiting to use it.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thanks
so,
for the question. We needed the button.
Yes.
Yeah. Now we know.
Well, what can you tell us about CRT?
Ooh.
You know, CRT, for those that don't know, the acronym is Critical Race Theory. And critical race theory, there's the interesting thing to know about that for Oregon in particular is that it's not a curriculum. And so for people that are following along and they're saying, I am opposed to critical race theory, I want it out of my schools, it's tricky because it is, for some teachers, it is in fact an approach to teaching no matter the subject. So it is the lens through which they teach whatever subject they are specializing in. For some teachers, that's not for all teachers. But what the intent of critical race theory, if I understand it correctly, and I am in fact not an educator, so I feel like that's a disclaimer I should lay out there, is that it is intended to begin to dismantle entire institutions based on this concept that underlying all of our institutions is racism and historic injustice. And so if you look at the world and you say schools themselves are based on racist concepts, or maybe banking or financial systems or corporations or the private sector, that everything is underpinned historically with racism that's harmed people of color, then we need to be
trees.
Oh yeah, or
So-
there's that, yeah, and actually
Or-
that actually
or
translates
rocks,
over
you know,
environmental
rocks.
justice,
Yeah,
social justice.
Yes. Yeah.
And so you have this idea that people that in fact you need to begin to dismantle society and replace it with something that is not based in racism.
Can I ask you a few simple questions here?
Please.
The Roman Empire, were they all white guys?
Well, so I don't believe all the Roman Empire were white guys.
So would you say that they're more Middle Eastern kind of thing? You know, considering that's where they were in, like, you know, Italy, in that area. So considering that banking kind of started back in those eras, you know, saying that banking is an institution that primarily, you know, is there to be is racist and helps, you know, white people and things like that, and is, you know, puts it's not how the word you use, it wasn't balanced for or despair. What's the word you use there for people of color?
People of color?
Yeah,
I
no.
think I actually said people of color.
No. You used a word. It wasn't fair to them or something. What was the word you used there? It was a better word than I'm thinking of.
It was a good word though, huh?
Oh, okay.
Yes, it was. It was a good word.
I
Either
must
way.
have missed it. Did I miss it?
You know, but basically, when you said
I need to
bank,
rewind the tape.
I know.
Yes.
I can rewind the tape.
Actually,
Put
we
the
have a
question
button
marks up
somewhere for it.
again.
There you go.
I need the question mark again.
There you go. I got it for you.
Rewind the tape.
Disparaging. There's the word.
Disparaging?
You know, that's why we keep our producer around, because
Oh,
Yeah.
so good.
she's so good at those
So
things,
good.
and she runs this show. And if we
Yeah.
didn't have her, we would be in so much trouble.
Oh yeah.
Not to
and
mention-
there'd be no emojis.
Not to mention,
no
she's very pretty, and those are for her too.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay, so yeah, hearts. Oh, here you go. Here you go. Hearts. Wait for it. Wait for it. There it goes. Hearts.
Look at the little eyes.
I'm so happy.
Okay, what's
Yeah.
the question mark again?
Okay, so one more time for the question marks, and then we're gonna get to what I was saying. So,
Yeah.
but basically, the statements like that just shows that
Mhm.
whoever makes those statements has no concept of history.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can take 5 minutes and open a history book, you'd realize that
Yeah.
it doesn't make any sense.
But I think the thing that I want to say in particular about concerns that people have about critical race theory in Oregon's classrooms, parents get involved. Parents get
Yes.
involved, because conversations
Yes.
with your school board, conversations with your teacher
Yes.
can help you better engage directly and personally in a way that you can solve problems and untangle any issues that there might be inside your classroom from what your student is learning. Get involved.
It's easy to criticize from the sidelines.
Yeah.
And
jump
you have
in.
get in, jump in.
Jump in.
Yes.
And also, we need to take politics out of the classroom. I think when people
You
want to
said
talk
that.
about that,
Yes.
yeah, critical
All
race theory
politics,
is
all of it.
Yep,
Okay.
take politics out. Take politics out
Yep.
of the classroom.
Yep.
Keep that thought in mind. It's
Yeah.
actually time for a sponsor here. So hey, when you guys are thinking about trying to get new stickers, new banners, new shirts, we know a great place right here in town. It's actually does most of our stickers for it. They actually make these right here.
I
And these
love
things have been on this cup,
them.
and they go through the dishwasher and everything else quite often. And we've tested them as much as we can. We've soaked them in water for days.
Didn't you light them on fire?
We have not lit them on fire yet, but that'd be a great show one of these days. We might have the fire department on standby for that one.
With all this wood, with all this wood and this awesome table.
Yes. But there was a great place right here in town.
PTSD.
Whitney Signs has a great way to make some stickers, banners, and in fact, you may have seen a lot of their stuff around town and not even noticed it. Let's take a minute and go and take a look at this for us.
Oh yeah, the honk honk.
Anyway,
Hey, did you guys get the honk honk?
I may need to change the timing on the last little bit of that. Shut it off kind of quick.
I like these words from our sponsors. Hey guys, it comes up so quick that you don't have time to get up. So
exactly.
We changed that
like I
big
said, the new meta was going to be having a bottle next to you during our show.
That's right. I like this, bro. This is good.
Free depends with every follow.
There's no break in the excitement, though, so don't even think that you can get away.
Oh,
Exactly.
did you just say there's no break in the
There's no
excitement?
break in the excitement.
Oh, right here.
No break.
I love the pun.
Let's see the button. I'm overly excited with these
He
buttons.
loves the buttons.
Let's go with the crouch here now.
You know what?
Yeah.
What kind of pun can I say with break?
Oh,
I don't know.
You'll get there.
I don't know. I'll get there.
Well, you heard about the comedian, right?
Okay.
You heard about the comedian. He actually submitted to a contest. It was a contest to win. The best pun wins, right?
Uh-huh.
So he submitted 10 puns to this contest to see if he won. So he waited a little while, about a couple weeks, and he called in and checked with him to see if any of his puns had won. But unfortunately, no pun intended.
Oh, dang it.
Cut
It
it.
took me a minute.
Cut it.
Hold on. There you go.
Intended.
Got it.
Yes.
Got it.
Yeah, I beeped that story that time, so it's actually no pun
Thank you.
intended.
Yes.
So when I worked down in Vegas as a security officer back in another lifetime,
Mhm.
that was actually written on the wall during the
Oh.
at the comedian area. It was pretty bad. Yeah, that's how bad the
Oh,
jokes
my
were.
And you
Word.
remembered it, too.
Unfortunately, I did. Well, when
That
you
is
see it
pretty
every day for like
That
2
stuck
years,
with him.
Yes.
when you see it every day for 2 years, it kind of sticks in your brain.
It made an impression.
It did make an impression.
Well, I was wondering when they're going to put a new joke up there, and they never did.
They never did.
All right, do we have any more questions?
Yes.
Let's see. Okay.
Way to keep
She's enjoying the buttons as much as I am.
I am loving the buttons. They're like just barely, like right here.
One has not popped up yet.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
We can just talk
Usually
about
they're a lot more chatty about this, but
you guys feeling quiet?
hey guys,
Because the cool thing about this is if they're quiet,
Yeah.
you're answering all of their questions. They've already made their decision.
I love that so
Well,
much.
here's the
Love
big thing.
that.
There's actually a button that can be pushed that reminds people to give us comments.
Ooh, nice.
Oh,
So he
there it
loves his
is.
buttons. You know what? You're pushing all the right buttons.
Actually, I didn't push that. I actually didn't push.
Oh, you did
Got
it.
it.
Oh, he found one. He found one.
Yes.
And I totally lost my comment section. All right. So, but yeah, let's go back to the notes that we had up here and see if there's anything we didn't touch on yet. Okay, so let's talk about homeless.
Let's do
Homelessness.
Yeah.
Or
So-
in, what was that recent bill that came out? What he's freaking out about? It was SB 31.
He's acting
Yeah.
like I'm in the legislature still.
See.
I'm not.
See.
I'm not there.
Oh, it just came out recently. It's, I don't know, it killed
Okay,
me. It's 3101 or something.
This is the common man speaking to both of you politicians.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Is such a large problem
Yeah.
that is almost seemingly.
Don't say it. Don't say it. You're
Okay.
going to say it. Are you going to say it?
No, I'm not gonna say it.
Okay. Because
Hold on.
I thought maybe you were going to say that it's something that we can't actually solve.
Well, I wasn't gonna say that, but it
Okay,
seems
good.
so impossible.
Okay. That's close, though.
Yeah.
That's close.
Now I want to be optimistic
yeah,
about it. So
right.
give me some optimism.
So we all know and feel, right, that it's what's happening on our streets is inhumane. It's an actual humanitarian crisis. And for probably, I think it's been since the Obama administration, he
Yes.
came up with these policies that were called Housing First.
Mhm.
And he had this vision that said we are going to end homelessness for veterans by year X. I think it was like 5 years. We're going to end homelessness for women and children by year Y. And that was a couple years beyond that. And and we're going to do that by focusing on housing. That hasn't worked. That
Yeah,
hasn't
we got one
worked.
for that one. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
The novelty will wear off soon.
But not yet.
Not
Not
yet.
yet.
It's very new.
I
It's
love
very
it.
new. It's like a shiny
It will.
object. Shiny.
By next
Yeah.
week or so, we'll probably be bored of it.
It's a shiny penny.
Or-
It's a shiny penny.
She actually has the ability to take these buttons away from me at any point.
She
so I should
just
use
She
it.
might
hasn't
think
done it
about
yet.
that. Yeah.
But the homeless crisis is not simply it isn't an easy button, right?
Yes.
Ooh,
You cannot just say it's one thing.
Yeah.
It's this and this
Yes.
and this and this. It's the fabric of society has
so
frayed.
Yes.
People have some people have lost that grip on the bottom rung of the ladder to be able to find their place, and housing is part of it. Affordability is part of it, and so is mental health and behavioral
Yes.
health.
Yes.
And
yes.
and connections for community. And oh, by the way, Oregon passed Measure 110, which legalized possession of hard drugs. That's not helping any of us.
No.
So
That's
anybody-
why I'm saying.
I don't
Yeah,
even
no.
get the thought
kicking
process
ourselves in the
behind
butt.
that.
You
I
know,
really don't. I mean, I haven't
You
found one good
guys-
argument on it.
Yeah.
It's-
That pushed my button.
it
actually.
is a different. It's now we have to approach it differently because there is this possibility that based on how hard some of those drugs are, that it's going to be more challenging. A human crisis is always more complex and takes more time
That's it.
than a building crisis.
Yes.
Like if it's just building, that's one thing.
Yes.
But this is a human crisis.
It's nuanced.
And it's going to take all in mentality, but we need to enforce existing laws.
I love that.
Environmental degradation is extraordinary out there.
Mm-hmm.
Trash and needles and all of the dangerous things, criminal activity, all of those are real and they're happening in communities and in neighborhoods that are experiencing it. Like, when is this going to stop? It's going to stop when we intervene in a way that says, I'm going to provide assistance. I'm going to provide help. And oh, by the way, you also can't stay here.
Yes, exactly. That's the big thing too. Is well, we're looking at we're recently reviewing that in the city council,
Mm-hmm.
and I can't talk too much on it because I can't speak on behalf of city council outside of there. But that's one of the things they're recently looking at, and one of the challenges that I think that we're gonna be facing is, at least in our area, there's a couple questions that did pop up. So, but one of the challenges we're facing is while we have the the resources out there to get people to go to, well, we don't have them in here in Estacada.
Right.
And there's been recent changes in laws because of the Supreme Court, where you can't just tell someone to get out there. You can't sleep there. And so the challenge, I think, is going to be try to find ways to provide the tools to law enforcement also to do the job as well. Let alone because social services, I think that's just broken on their end. They don't get out there. Nonprofits can't do all the work on there. It does take law enforcement sometimes to get people to move, and they tied a lot of cities' hands because
and the legislature made it worse.
Too.
And there's a lot of pressure on law enforcement.
Yeah, it does.
It absolutely puts pressure on them.
Yeah, a large percent, even I think 90% of their calls are mental health calls.
Yeah.
And there are some tricks that I've looked at there, but I'm going to hold those cards a little closer until we comes up to the council conversation.
But the legislature made this problem worse. The single party control enabled this. It's got to stop. I mean, they didn't just say, okay, the courts say that you have to let people stay where they are. It's not illegal to be homeless. That we know that intuitively.
Right.
It's not criminal to be homeless.
Yeah, it's been used before, but it's not. Yes.
And so, but the legislature also said now you can put up blue tarps and tents and stay where you are and build a little house there. That is not okay.
No,
that's enabling the problem.
Sanitary.
It's not sanitary. It's dangerous for them. It's
Yes,
dangerous
and not
they're
for them.
They're
Yes.
all worried
It's
about.
terrible.
Here's the thing that they're worried about. What's fair and everything else for the homeless. I get that, but they completely just leave out what's fair to the business owners, the homeowners, the property.
Well, what they're
owners.
acting like is fair to the homeless isn't fair to the homeless. I don't think it's fair to anybody to say it's okay if you sleep outside on
I
a
agree.
sidewalk.
And I mean, and there's a variety of different ones. You got those out there that can't or won't go to.
It's complex.
It is
go
very
to
complex.
go
It
to
is.
the shelters maybe because of drugs. There's mental disorders out there that cause it, and then there's a whole class of people out there that just don't want to abide by
Right.
a society's laws and rules, and so they want to kind of step outside of that.
Hmm.
And so you got those whole different class of it. I keep hearing that there's not enough beds for them.
Right.
And
I've heard that too.
But my research has shown other than that. The thing is that
Mhm.
there's more beds than there are people that want to go to
Yeah.
use them. And technically, according to the national statistics, there's more homeless in
Yeah.
Oregon than there are beds. About 14,000 is what they're tracking on a national level, 6,500 beds in the metro area.
Hmm.
But the thing is that those beds are going empty at nights because people don't want to adhere to
The rules.
Yeah, and the rules are
Mhm.
don't do drugs in by a certain
Mhm.
time, you have to leave by certain times, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
There's certain rules there. They don't want to follow them, and so they're choosing not to take them. And
Mhm.
so they constantly want to say that there's not enough beds. We got to spend
Mhm.
millions of dollars to build these high-end tech, like the one they built off of 100, was it, no, it was that, I think it was like Burnside and 122nd, I think it was. It's not in that area somewhere.
Yeah.
It was a brand new, right next to the Max line.
Mhm.
It's they built this gigantic, I think it was like $10 million. It's a massive building, really expensive, as a homeless shelter.
Mhm.
And the thing is, when I was hearing about that, I was driving Uber back in the day when they're first building it,
Yeah.
and I had a couple of people more than once. I'd have someone that was worked in a homeless shelter riding in my vehicle, and they said, "I don't get why they keep building more beds. We have beds,
Mhm.
nobody wants them."
So right here, even in Estacada, you guys have Adult and Teen Challenge
Mhm.
here in town,
Mhm.
and they have beds open.
Yes, they do.
They are not at capacity.
Nope.
And that's an extraordinary local nonprofit that's
Yeah.
doing great work in people's
Yes.
lives, intervening, changing lives, helping people, and they have beds available.
Yep.
And I
And
mean,
so,
And
you work with them often,
yes,
mhm.
and correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't it one of the things that they say is that they have to want to change, right?
they have to want to change, and a lot. Well, I would say some who go in are,
Mhm.
This is from a mental health perspective, but a lot of us addicts are little kids.
Mhm.
We're little itty bitty kids, have been traumatized or maybe
Yeah.
not, and we haven't grown past our alcohol addiction,
Yeah.
or whatever addiction. So
Yeah.
we don't sometimes want to be told,
Yeah.
be in by a certain time, or don't do this or don't do that.
Mhm.
Yes, and a lot of time it's a revolving door as well. So there's a lot of it's nuance, as you were
Mhm.
saying,
It is.
and because we're dealing with human beings,
Yeah.
not human doings. We're
Yeah.
dealing with human beings,
Yeah.
and it makes it really complex.
Mhm.
And that's went back to, can we,
Yeah.
like you said, provide enough to suit a person's need, and also do only what God can do, is make a person actually take
Right.
advantage of that.
Yeah. Change hearts.
Change.
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
Hearts and minds.
Yes. But
So-
Yeah.
I think though too, when it comes to this challenge, we've got to make progress. We don't have to hit perfection.
Ooh,
We have,
love that.
but we have to make progress.
Awesome.
And so it
Awesome.
can't be such a big problem that we
The
don't
word-
feel like we have a responsibility to make progress.
Yes, the word progress, I hate that word. You know why?
Why is that?
Because they've abused that up in the national Congress level.
Oh, you mean like progressives?
Yeah, well, no, it's every time you hear oh, we're making lots of progress. Oh, there's lots of progress. We're going to make progress on that. And when they're basically trying to cover up actually getting nothing done, and so they've ruined that word for me.
Well, I'm sorry, but like, look at this. Look at the challenges of homelessness,
Mhm.
and okay. What we have to say is, do we really understand the scope of the problem? Do we really know what it is we're dealing with? What is needed out there to
Felt
respond
needs.
to this?
Yep.
What are the needs?
Mm-hmm.
Do we have clarity on the needs? Do we have clarity on resources to apply to those needs? And are we willing to do the work?
So
We have to say yes to all that.
yes, and what you just define there is a
Mhm.
typical project plan.
Mm-hmm, right.
And I haven't seen one of those yet.
With metrics.
Yes,
With
with
metrics.
metrics.
Yeah.
By the way,
And data points.
we have more
Yeah.
questions.
Yes.
So
Yes.
let's get
do
to some.
that.
Let's get some of these
We'll do it.
questions.
It's also called accountability.
Yeah. Yeah.
Accountability.
Let's do that.
So I have a couple questions here. What will Drazan do about restoring gun rights to the people?
Ooh,
Little-
that is a great
Second
question.
Amendment.
Second Amendment. I'm a
Yes.
strong supporter of the Second Amendment.
Yes.
And I can tell you I will
Ms.
veto.
Drazan,
Yes.
Would you take a guy with one eye shooting? You want to commit right here on the show?
I would commit to take you shooting.
Oh!
You are welcome to come to my gun club anytime.
You have one?
Yeah.
Whoa. My husband is the member. I am the family.
Okay.
By the
So
way,
don't get me in trouble.
Okay. You didn't hear that, guys. You didn't hear
can
it.
you repeat the line about the Second Amendment again?
Yeah.
I just said I'm a strong supporter of the Second Amendment.
Okay, there we go. Oh, there it works. She keeps trying to do it for me.
Okay. I think it's a husband-wife argument right there. Right on the buttons.
Brandy, you're in charge.
Yes.
Yes. She may not touch it. I may just got it a little too excited and hit it like 3 times. Okay. Anyways, but yeah, so that's awesome. I love the Second Amendment. I am a gun owner, and I am a multi-gun owner.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're planning on breaking into my house, it will cost you.
It will be a bad day.
It would be a bad day.
Or night.
But answer that question. It was a question about that. About
Yeah,
the Second
yeah,
Amendment.
Yes.
yeah. So the restoring Second Amendment rights is something that we do in the legislature. And so a lot of what we've done, a lot of what's happened in Oregon has in fact limited Second Amendment rights in one way or another over the course of the years. We have very complex Second Amendment legislation in Oregon. And as governor, I can veto anything that comes my way. I can make rulemaking such that you can process applications faster, that you can be responsive. But as far as repealing existing statute, that's outside the scope of the governor. So people who want to repeal existing statute need to challenge them in the courts.
Or they need to. It's how they vote.
And you need
Change
to
the way you vote.
Change how you vote.
Stop
Change
being
how
the
you
silent
vote.
majority and start being the loud majority.
That's right. Elect a majority that will, in fact, repeal the legislation. And if anything shy of that, we got to pursue in the courts.
Exactly.
Mhm.
I love how answers just roll off your tongue. And it's authentic. It's not a rehearsal. It's just because I've looked
Right.
at many of your public speaking events.
Yeah.
And it's like you are true blue. You're like, boom, boom, right on it. I wish I was that quick.
Oh, you are that
I
quick.
think
Come on now. You are.
I think you partially answered the next question on
Okay.
here. Can you reverse measure 110 when you are
Oh, yeah.
governor?
So 110, I do not support 110. And the leadership that I would provide on 110 would be to move us toward an additional opportunity for Oregonians to vote on a correction on that thing. It's a ballot measure. Oregonians voted on it. I respect the vote of Oregonians.
Let's take
Right?
a minute
Even
and
if
clarify.
I don't agree. Even if I don't agree.
Let's clarify for those who don't know what Measure 110 is for.
So what Measure 110 legalized possession of a variety of what we would have considered hard drugs. And in exchange, what was sold to Oregonians was that we would have additional access to recovery services, behavioral and mental health support services, which we desperately need.
Yes.
I got a button for that on their success of
He's
that one.
on the button.
There you go. That's the success of that.
Okay, got it. Yeah, but it's true.
Awesome.
It's
No,
true.
it's true.
It was not implemented in a way that was in keeping with what Oregonians voted for. It
Well,
wasn't.
exactly. I think what they're voting for is to have some sort of success to try to better treat them.
Treat them.
But
Treatment.
I don't see why decriminalizing is taking away a tool that was heavily used for
Mhm.
avoiding them doing it. And they said,
Yeah.
here, we're going to deal with treatments. And so when Oregonians asked for better treatments in exchange
Mhm.
for taking that away, this is what they got right here.
I'd say that's true.
For those for Tony who can't see, there's a
That was bacon.
there's a,
That was bacon going across.
He saw
yes,
bacon.
he saw
All
it.
I
Okay.
saw was bacon. Oh. What all Oregonians got was bacon?
I've been waiting to use that button all show.
Finally.
I finally found a
Yes.
reason to use it.
Yes.
But no, it's a very serious concern.
It is.
Because
Wow.
Oregon is among the worst in the nation for addiction rates.
Yes.
And worst case combination of worst ever, we're also the worst in the nation for access to treatment.
Yep.
Like that is devastating to our communities.
We have a waiting list from here to
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, the Oregon has kind of become the number one for being the worst at a lot of things.
And a
recently.
lot of things that matter.
So,
A
but
lot of
before we
things
get
that
to what those might be, let's go and take another word from one of our sponsors, which, by the way, is Backwoods Brothers is our sponsor. And by meaning that is that we sponsor ourselves by having merchandise.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
You know, we have some great merchandise things that were recently designed. It's called the Pissed Off Patriot line.
The mug.
And the mug.
And we have these, but
The Pissed Off Patriot, though.
Yeah, it's a Pissed Off Patriot line. That's a new line that we just came out with. We've gotten a logo done, but we are working on some other really cool stuff that I think people are going to really like when it comes out. But the logo, it took a little while to come out with what we liked, and we've made some cool merchandise on it.
Wow.
We have some high quality shirts, and we have some high quality different water drinking stuff. Let's just take one quick
you seen
second,
it?
and I put this together for you
You
guys to
gotta
take a
see
look
it.
at that.
I'm going to see this.
Tony's excited.
So I was
Hi guys.
I was watching the video and I made a mess.
Yes. So guys, check that out
I wonder if our
online.
producer has a rag.
Yeah, check it. And so while Joel's playing with his buttons and spilling stuff, check that out online. And make sure you want to pick one up today. As a matter of fact, hey guys, this weekend we're gonna be up at there you go. This weekend we're gonna be up at the Jessie Lee concert.
Woo!
And we have a very important role to play in that. We're going to be pretty much starting the show.
I love this so much.
It's going to be so much fun. So
Oh,
give
yes.
Jessie Lee a Facebook message, and she'll give you her address, and you will not want to miss this awesome concert starting at 7 o'clock, right?
Have you
7
heard
o'clock?
Jessie Lee?
I've heard of Jessie Lee. I've never seen her in concert.
Are you going to be there?
Broski,
I'm
7
so-
o'clock, right?
I have no idea.
7:30.
7:30. But check it out on Facebook, okay?
Yep.
All right.
Again, that's the 12th. It is. So
on Saturday.
Saturday.
So
Yeah.
yes, if you, I'm sure that Jessie will give you the invitation if you'd like.
I would love that.
Yes.
So it's at 7:30 at night.
Christine is going to be
Oh, wait. I don't know what I'm doing on
at the gun range.
At
the
I'm-
gun
I'm
range.
busy
That is where you're
out of here at
going.
the gun range.
I won't be there, bro. I'm going to the gun range.
You know,
Yes.
is your person behind the thing? Is she able to answer that for you?
She's able to answer that.
Can
for
can
me.
you let us know in the comments if that
If we have
if
her.
in our back behind the scenes
Yes.
communication if she's available to be there because
Somebody will tell us.
yes because
Our
am
person
I
will know.
Right?
yes putting you completely on the spot.
No pressure.
No pressure at all. No pressure at all.
Pressure.
Oh wait. What's that? What's the thing for Jeopardy? No.
I am loving this. I am loving this soundtrack. I am loving
You are
this.
so.
Oh,
Okay. if
unfortunately, she's
everybody
already committed for
needs-
that time.
Everybody needs a Christine doll, okay?
Oh no!
Anytime.
Nobody needs that. Nobody needs
A
that.
bobblehead.
Nobody needs a bobblehead.
Yes. Here. This is we got.
Oh, we're back to a button.
Oh, we're back to a button.
Here,
Okay.
we got this for the Christine doll.
Oh, this
Oh.
one I like. This one I like.
Yes.
That's the
So,
sweetest.
and then along with this one.
He's fucking.
I'm telling you, these buttons can start disappearing off here because she
Red
can
is
erase
like
them.
I'm
And
done.
she's like, I can't do it. Y'all
Okay.
need to look at a lot of pictures on there.
Yeah.
He likes books with lots of pictures. Okay.
Yes, there we go.
No, so
Yeah.
being a politician,
Yes.
you live in a glass house. You
Uh-huh.
literally do.
Yeah.
And having a friend, my best friend who is in politics, it's a glass house.
Yeah.
How are you going to balance that out?
Yeah.
How are you going to have your private time and how are you going to
Right.
have your public time?
I think right now, because I'm all in to run for governor,
Yes.
that I
Husband, you're cooking your own food then.
I know, yeah. It's there's kind of a lack of balance right now,
Yeah.
right? Work-life balance is kind of a little bit off.
Yeah.
But I think that the best way to navigate all of this stuff, at least how I've handled it so far, is to just try to be authentic no matter where I am. So there's not like this disconnect from the person that I am when I go home, from the person I am when I'm sitting with you guys,
Yeah.
from the person I am when I'm talking to folks.
Absolutely.
Like, as long as it's all just me,
Mhm.
then the difference is really whether or not I have time to get my hair done. So like if I could just protect my time to get my
You
hair
know, when
done.
you're
I don't have that problem
Look,
so
when you're
much.
governor, you won't have to worry about that. You get your
Right.
hair done by,
yeah, I want to spend Valentine's Day with my husband.
Yeah.
I want to have eggs and toast with my daughter. I want to make sure I get my hair
Oh.
done. I want to do college tours with my son.
Can you tell that story about the eggs and
You
toast?
guys-
Oh, eggs and toast. I
Eggs
don't know.
and
I didn't
toast?
ask. He asked
Eggs
it.
and
Do you
toast.
not? So
I don't know
okay.
the story about
So
eggs
as
and
long
toast.
as
cool.
my daughter doesn't see this, that's what
Oh,
matters.
oh.
We can't let my daughter see it because she.
It's on the line.
Beep
I can't
everything out.
You
promise.
guys, you have to make sure she doesn't see this.
I have no
Okay.
way. I have no way to stop
So
her.
when I first decided
Make
to
up a name.
run, okay, we won't call her by her real names. We won't
Yeah.
call her by any names. But when I made the decision to run the first time, my daughter was 10,
Uh-huh.
and now she's 14, right? She's going to turn 15 in like 3 months. And so she's getting older.
Yeah.
But when I first decided to do this, I had this conversation with every member of my family.
Yes.
I am considering serving the community. I want to run for the state legislature. What do you think? And my husband, he's all in. You know, it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
You're going to be great for the community. My boys, they're excited. Get to my daughter. I talked to my daughter. She's 10. We sit down and have this conversation. She just said, I just want to know if you're going to be home for breakfast. And you guys, it's not what I was expecting.
Hey, the
she
most
was gonna say.
important meal of the day,
It's
yeah.
the most important meal of the day.
Yeah.
But the reason
You're still mom, right?
I'm still
Yeah.
mom. But the
Yeah.
reason is because her brothers are older, right? And
Yeah.
so they get on the bus first.
Uh-huh.
And we had this time every single morning where there's a spare hour. That's just the two of us. And I would make eggs and toast, and we would sit down, and she would talk about whatever she wants to talk about. And I know I'm talking a lot right now, but eggs and toast time was my daughter's time to talk and my time to listen.
Yeah.
And she wanted to know that if I did this thing, is she still going to matter? I think that was yes. The answer is yes. We will have eggs and toast at midnight. We will do whatever it takes for you to know you're my priority.
Do you know, I love that because what you're going to bring out into the public is who you are inside the home.
Yeah.
And our kids are going to be better for it.
So-
I hope that my kids are also better for it,
Yeah.
that they see public service is something where you're doing it to make a difference and you can make a difference.
Yes.
And, you know, it's not mudslinging. It really is serving people and talking to people about what they need.
Right.
Eggs and Toast sounds like the title of a good like biography book or something.
Eggs and toast.
Eggs and toast. It could be a t-shirt too.
Eggs and toast. Ooh.
Ooh, there you
Write
go.
that down.
Oh,
And then Christine Drazan.
Eggs and
Eggs and
toast.
toast.
Eggs and toast with Christine Drazan.
That's
Yes.
gonna be your full on.
Ooh.
Is that your new campaign?
That could be your
slogan?
morning show. Eggs and toast.
Eggs and
with
toast with Christine
Good
Drazan.
morning.
It sounds like a good show.
It does. Eggs and toast with Christine.
Yes, right there.
Love it. As long as I can sing the jingle.
You get to sing the jingle. You
Eggs and
are
Toast,
the
only here
soundtrack.
on
You're the
Backwoods
soundtrack
Brothers.
for Eggs and Toast. You're in. You're in.
Awesome. A couple more comments on here. It says, I like the idea of electing a superintendent for public education again.
Me too.
Oh,
me too.
yes.
Me too. I had a bill for
Yes.
that. You guys, it's time for the leader of our schools to be accountable directly to Oregonians.
Yep,
Okay.
definitely.
And for too long, that position has become too political
Oh, yes.
and a complete lack of accountability directly to parents, families, and the students that are intended to be served. So I am all in for that.
Exactly. By the way, Tony, Kurt is waiting to take you shooting this year, though.
Kurt, you're the man. Yes. You should have seen me the last time I went shooting. I think, it was funny.
That video might
Patreon.
the video will be on Patreon.
Okay.
Oh, actually, no. I don't think we're allowed to show that video
Oh.
because of where we were at.
Ah.
We weren't supposed to take video
I feel
there.
like there's a story to this.
There's a story. We'll
Yeah,
tell you
there's
later. It
gotta
was
be a
so
story.
bad.
The short story is don't give Tony a gun and make noises
Oh.
because everything around you will get shot.
Everything. If the dogs make it, no, I don't know that.
No.
So-
If the cats make a noise, yeah.
We
it's
went to a place.
Dog guy. You're dog guy, not
I'm a
cat
dog guy.
Yeah.
We went to a place where they have this shooting scenarios, and it's with
it was
fake
your
pistol.
birthday.
Yeah, it was my birthday. It's fake air. It's a pistol that have air.
Yeah,
so when you
yeah.
fire, it feels like you're firing a real pistol.
Mhm.
But it uses air. And we have this place where it's at 340 degrees,
Oh,
and you
wow.
put on a belt that if you
Virtual
don't shoot the
thing,
person in
yeah.
time, it shocks you.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
dang.
I said, turn it up. I said, I want the full shock.
You
Yeah.
want to feel
It
it?
was-
And believe me, I got it. I got it. I
So the
received
first
it.
time
Yeah, so-
the first time he was doing good
No.
at first. He was like
Oh,
he was
no.
he was shooting in the right areas, and he was being very calm, and he was being tactical about it. And the first time he missed and got shocked.
And I gave up.
All that went out the window. Every time there was
Vigilante with
any noise, it was bam, bam, bam in every direction.
Sis, yes. So Christine, you might want to make sure that you put a bill in for
Just to save you from this.
this to save you from myself.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, this does not sound as fun as it could have.
It was actually pretty good. I actually went there with Mayor Drinkwine.
Oh yeah.
wow.
I took him there, and the funny part about here is while we were there, him and I are up there, and we're doing the shooting thing,
Mhm.
and what we hadn't noticed is the belt that he was wearing had actually fallen down to the ground for him, not his
Oh.
pants, just the belt, the
Yeah,
shot
yeah, yeah.
had fallen down to the ground.
So he was not being shot.
And so when it came to the point where
love
I
this
missed,
story.
we were shooting most people on the things. We were pretty good at it
Mm-hmm.
up until the one where they overwhelmed us from behind and we didn't know. And so I got
Yes.
shocked. I'm like, oh, and I fall to the ground on my knees. I'm like, it's getting shocked, right?
Uh-huh.
And he's just standing there like nothing.
Right.
And the instructor goes, wow, that was one badass mare.
Like he's getting shot. It's not going down. No.
Turns out,
It turns out the belt
he
fell.
wasn't being shocked at all.
Yes.
Yes. But I'm like, Sean, why did you tell him that? You could have thought, like, man, I ain't never going to mess with that cicada.
He is kind of badass because
He is a badass mayor.
He leads with class.
Oh, yes.
He leads with purpose.
And he's deeply committed to the community.
Deeply committed.
Oh
to
yes,
Yeah.
and he's shown that
Yeah.
over and over again. And
Yeah.
actually, we had a chance to do a interview with him, and we have a video on that. We got a chance to interview Mayor Drinkwine. We interview Mayor Pulliam, now Candidate Pulliam, and these are individual interviews, and also
Did you Scott Kaiser?
Scott.
yes, I was about to say.
Malala's
Also, I was going to say my
one,
man Scott Kaiser, Mayor Kaiser,
Yes.
out of Malala. Yes, and so we might throw those back up eventually for people to see those again.
Yeah.
But they are on our website if you want to see them. We have another question. Wait, hold on before we get the question. Jeez, there you go.
It's a button. Oh, it's a button.
Yes, of course it's a button.
One of these days, one of these shows, I'm gonna.
I'm wearing it off
to
now.
me. I'm gonna.
Will you allow the loggers to clear the trees so our forests can have a healthier and clean, so that if there's another fire again?
Yeah.
Oh, that was it.
Forest management.
Yes.
Forest management matters.
Yes, it does.
So when we have these fires, the fires are, more extreme and more catastrophic on the forest lands that are federal forest lands that aren't managed by the federal government. If you look at the fire starts that happen in private lands that are carefully managed, those fires do not spread as fast, as far. They put them out. But on the federal forest lands, they have real problems, and they've got to be partners in this. They've got to come in and manage. And state lands could do a better job managing too. I believe that we have got to manage our forests in a way that includes harvest. It cannot just assume that we let it burn as a way to clear the forest. That's, you know what? When we talk about these larger issues, people talk quite a bit about climate with me.
Yes.
And the carbon emissions that you actually release from these catastrophic fires that we have had is, like a year's worth of pollution from cars in Portland from one of these fires that we'll have in a summer. And so letting the trees burn is the worst possible scenario for all of us. It's bad for the planet. It's bad for all of us. It's bad for our communities.
Dangerous.
And it's dangerous. And so, before we came here, I had the opportunity to visit with a former constituent whose home was lost during the fires. And they have just become, to me, dear friends. I hope it's mutual. But they went through this whole rebuilding process. But notification for that didn't happen. Somebody ended up coming down their driveway, but they didn't get the call, and it was incredibly dangerous for them, and they lost their home. And now they have this ability to get back into this brand new home in this brand new space, but they've lost 45 years of memories in that
Yes.
experience. These fires have real human impacts.
And there's no amount of insurance or anything else that can replace that.
Well, and they wanted their home, right?
Christine, are they just moving in now?
Yeah, they just got
This is
in December.
It's almost.
Wow.
It's been a year and a
year and
half.
a half.
And some of their neighbors are still not rebuilt and back in their home, and it's right outside, as you know, right
Yep.
along the river.
Yes.
You know where I mean.
There's actually quite a few places, not just along the river, but further up
Wow.
Yeah.
off of Hillock Burn, there's still issues.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
And so, the losses are extraordinary. And managing our forests in a way that includes harvest, well, I think they call it treating. There's technical terms for it, where you go in and you treat and you thin, and that really will make a difference in the catastrophic nature of our fires.
You addressed that we lost our land in the fires. That's actually how we became friends, is during that fire time. So,
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my
It's
gosh,
a big
I'm
story,
so
but I'll tell you
sorry.
that.
Yeah, please.
You know what? The blessings outweigh the deficits. I wouldn't have met them.
Yeah.
So
definitely, that was definitely an interesting time. I only left during the Estacada. I think I was only out of Estacada for a total of like 12 hours the entire time.
Yeah.
You guys were amazing.
Yes.
During that time.
Oh man,
I
my
remember
lungs
coming
hurt
to
for
visit,
months.
Oh.
And I was just like, oh my gosh, look what you guys have put together.
Well, you came down. The
Yeah.
one thing that I remember most about you is we had a lot of different representatives visit.
Yeah.
You're the only one that came in and got your hands dirty.
Yeah.
You actually got your hands in there and you did some work.
Christine's the one?
Yeah, she rolled up.
I've heard him reference you a lot.
Yeah, she's rolled up her sleeves and got her hands to work on there. And I think you spent a couple hours working there, if I remember right.
Well,
Oh,
so
wow.
you guys,
So.
but what happened in this community is extraordinary, because of the leadership that you guys showed and the way you guys pulled together to really recognize. You guys knew what your community needed, and you pulled together.
We had a lot of really good leadership on. Besides, just what we were trying to do. We had Mayor Drinkwine there that really. We got to give him the credit for the of actually having that
was his idea,
the
wasn't
command
it?
center. Well, yeah,
Yeah,
what he said to me was
yeah.
he looked at the chaos that was going on down there. The
Mhm.
city wasn't doing
Yep.
wasn't stepping up. The county wasn't there. It was a disaster in this area. And he says we need to get a command center going.
Yep.
And I said to him, I'll take care of it. But that command
And
center
that he did.
was birthed out of that statement there.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
I mean, and I was doing what I could to communicate with them because even the communication was broken down heavily, and
Mhm.
Yeah.
we were trying to do what we could from from a brand new. We were only a couple months old as a group at
Yeah.
the time, and so we were still trying to find our own feet.
Mm.
And then we just were able to organize people together, and
Yeah.
and it really was like I said. That definitely was birthed out of Mayor Drinkwine.
Mhm.
I remember.
And he was down there
Yeah.
every single day,
Yep.
constantly. They're checking in to make sure that things were running the right ways, people
Yeah.
were taken care of, and
Mhm.
seeing what else we could do.
I remember. I remember a certain person very close to you said, "Would you make sure he gets some sleep because he was literally
wow.
walking around like a zombie, but very tuned into a mission."
Mhm.
So it was
I was not a zombie.
a zombie like.
I was mission oriented.
He was mission
You were
oriented.
focused.
I
Yeah.
spent a year and a half in Afghanistan, and I was the exact same way there. I was mission focused, and sleep was
Mhm.
secondary.
Yeah.
Sleep.
I literally slept in the
You
the
slept-
center there.
In
Yeah.
that
And I only
room.
came home. I think every
think it
couple
was
days to take a shower.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I slept down there, and I'd work. I'd get a couple hours, and get up in the morning, continue going on, and
Mhm.
it was a lot of work.
Yeah,
So-
but it was needed work.
It was.
Yes, it was needed. It was needed,
Yeah.
and my employer was great. Used up all my vacation time because they didn't have a policy in
Oh,
place.
man.
They actually created a policy because of me
Mm.
in that work, and I work for a pretty big company.
Mhm.
They didn't have a policy.
If you're working on a fire, you don't
Yeah,
have to.
no,
go.
it was
How many
like-
people have that?
it was-
Right.
they
You're
have some-
working on a fire. Yeah.
it was some sort of community service thing at the time.
That's
But,
cool.
Okay.
yeah, but we got no vacation that year for the family because of it, and
Mhm.
but it was definitely worth it. It was worth everything on it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'll do it
let's-
again.
But let's never do that again, though.
Well,
Let's
yes,
never
yes.
do that again.
Let's never do
let me
that
phrase-
again.
Yeah.
Yes, let's never do it again.
Yeah.
But
But
if
you
I had to
said
go back
if it
and
happened, you would do it again.
yes, if
Yeah.
it happened, I would do it again,
Of
or I'd
course.
go back in time, and
Mhm.
I would
Yeah.
if we couldn't stop the fire, then I'd do that. So
But because of that, as governor, I've thought an awful lot about emergency management response, and what was clear to me for the people that were going through that experience was that to have one central place to go to for information for what to do in the recovery period immediately following those fires. I absolutely believe that we need that centralized, like the command center concept you guys have here locally. I think the state owes it to people to give them that. Like an emergency, not the emergency management system that actually exists to, like deploy the National Guard. But I'm talking about like an ombudsman equivalent where there's somebody you can call and you can say, I'm having problems with my insurance, they're not clearing stuff for me, or I'm having problems with permitting, or I don't know where to
that's a
get
great idea.
supplies,
Huh.
or I don't know, like how do you actually coordinate all of these entities that want to donate stuff and want to give and support? Like, let's give them some place to centrally coordinate.
That's kind of what the relief center became at the
It
time.
became that.
We had at the relief center we had donations being dropped
Yep.
off. We had mental health services down there.
Mhm.
We had insurance carriers down there. We had fire restoration cleanup people down there too. That were
Yeah.
also there. So they connected. I think FEMA came by. Well, they didn't come by. They stayed over into their own place after we came completely out of it. That's what it was.
Right, I was going to
we
say,
tried
FEMA
to-
came after it was
We
closed down.
we tried to get FEMA to come by. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Red Cross was down there in a truck shortly. They didn't
Mhm.
do a whole lot,
And
but they
everybody
did give
said
out.
FEMA's
They
food
give
was
out.
bad. That's what I had heard.
What's that?
That the FEMA food was bad. That's what I had heard.
Wasn't it?
You know,
Wasn't it the packets of?
Yeah, somebody said
I don't know.
Like
It's-
ERT. What do you know? The
MREs.
military-
Yeah.
MREs. Did they have that?
Possibly, I don't know. I know we had hot food
They had
every
hot
single night.
food, so
They had
yeah.
hot feet. They
We literally had
They had ER.
we literally had
Yeah.
Chick-fil-A delivered
What?
out there. Yes,
I did.
the
What, why
Chick-fil-A
was I
donated.
not there on that night?
I don't know. It's not my fault.
I was doing
We had
I was doing
meals.
mental health
every
but
single
I
night.
was doing mental health. and
Right.
that's
Which,
what-
by the way, I want to take a moment to
Yeah.
give a shout out to one of the businesses here in town. It was Lou's Drive-In, Marv.
Oh,
he
yes.
lived in his restaurant. He
That's
cooked
right. That's
3 times a
right.
day. He
cooked
fed
and cooked
ODOT and
everybody.
People Up the Way. He fed
Yeah.
us.
Mhm.
And man, I think he fed 6,500.
That's so
Meals.
amazing.
That's
That's so amazing.
Yeah. So yeah,
So
I think
amazing.
we have an estimated people we reached as 25 to 30,000
Oh
people.
my gosh.
We had people from as far out as Hillsborough coming in for stuff. Donations were coming from different states.
Yeah.
You know what? We have her in. We should talk about her a little bit.
Yeah, sorry, you got me started on that.
Yeah.
I'm just rolling.
I just like, what? Yeah.
Yes.
Just read the book.
It's one of my.
Those books gonna come out. He's gonna come out with a book.
But it is one of my. Okay, you guys, being a state representative, it's an extraordinary opportunity to recognize people and to thank people for leading in their own communities and to let people tell their stories. And this story of what happened in this town during that fire is absolutely inspiring.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So I'll see if we have any more new comments. The newest comment I said, it says, the mayor of Estacada thanks you.
Oh.
So
Yes,
there's a few that I skipped earlier because I wanted to kind of wrap up and see how many actually came in. But there's a whole bunch of people that says, you got my vote.
Oh, you guys are awesome.
So, yeah.
Thank
Keep it
you.
coming.
Yep,
Yes.
definitely keep it coming. So
I need it.
I have something for you.
Let's hear it. I'm
Being
ready.
a woman in politics
Yes,
Ooh.
that is actually what I'm doing right now, isn't it?
is exactly
It's
what you're
I'm
doing.
doing right now.
Is there any barriers you have to cross? Is there
Oh, I would say it's a larger barrier to be short than a woman.
Oh.
Just kidding.
Ah.
I'm just kidding. No,
Yeah.
I think that I think for the most part, I haven't experienced anything where I would say anybody treats me any differently because of my gender. I just
All right.
don't feel that.
All right.
So if
good.
that's
All
if
right.
that's
Good.
out there, people need to be more obvious with me because I'm not catching it.
Look. So you heard that here. You know what? You're only a victim if you feel like you won. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
I don't see,
No.
I just haven't seen it.
Yeah.
I haven't felt it.
Because you know what you're talking about.
I'm just
Yeah.
I'm just doing my thing.
You're just doing your thing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Just doing your thing.
I think the people that like to live in victimhood. This is a good symbol.
Oh, there we are.
Oh, what is
People like
the
to live-
crying brigade.
Yes, it's Hurt Feelings Brigade.
Hurt feelings brigade.
That people that like to live in the victimhood. There you go. So
No, it's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good. I promise.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So let's see. Any new questions coming up? Guys, ask us some questions. We got another 7 minutes left in the show here. If there's a question you want to ask,
So-
now's the time. Don't be shy.
Well,
What do you
let's
feel
hear
about
it.
veterans?
I
how are you? Yeah.
love veterans. So as a state rep, I had the opportunity to work in support of veterans, in particular around questions related to property taxes, right?
Yes.
Like how do you stay in your home? How do you get supports? And you know, we were working to try to give so for veterans that were harmed, you know, during the time of their service and permanently disabled, 100% disability, we were working to get their property taxes to be zero, right?
Mhm.
And that is an uphill battle because I mean, it's not that I hate to put words in their mouth, but you never know why people are unwilling to be supportive in that way. Because if you are permanently 100%, you know, like combat vet,
Mhm.
okay, you could use a little bit of support,
Mhm.
right? Like
Yes.
let's help folks not be homeless vets.
Yes.
Let's help vets stay in their homes.
Yes.
And instead, we weren't able to move the dial on that, and has had a lot to do with local governments that were county level that are dependent on those funds.
Mhm.
And but you got to work at it. You got to keep working at it because that was a need at that time. And in Clackamas County, we have the Veterans Village for homeless vets, which has now been replicated in Bend. They have their own homeless village there.
Is
Based
it a
on
nice
Clackamas
one?
County. Bend is super nice.
Okay.
And the one that we have here in Clackamas County, I wish that it was closer to Bend
Yes.
as far as what's available and what the conditions they're living in.
Yes.
I personally didn't think that it was what I would have hoped for in the end. Better than nothing,
Right. Right.
but still not quite where we could get, which is how I felt about like property taxes and supports for veterans. Is
Yes.
okay, we could do better than this.
Mhm.
We could do better.
I love when you said that. We could do better than
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
Mhm.
So there's work to be done.
Okay. Okay.
So let's go with this one too. What's a message, maybe some encouragement you might give to our first responders, law enforcement in those areas right now?
Yeah.
You could speak to them right now. What's some things you
Yeah.
might say to them?
Yeah, so for folks that are out there, okay, we just lost a firefighter in St. Paul. Like, and that's crushing to community. That's crushing to our firefighter community. And anybody that is, you know, engaged as a first responder, that kind of loss hits home.
Ah.
And that work, you know, those are the folks that when everybody is running away, they're running in. and they choose that work, and they choose to be there in our moments of crisis, our moments where we need them most. And it's a privilege and a pleasure to be able to acknowledge them and thank them. And so the things I just want to say today is thank you for your service. Thank you for everything that you do. Thank you for being there for our communities. And we need you to be encouraged. And we need you to keep doing the work. And I know it's hard. And I know that there's these losses that occur over the course of your work. And then the sense of whether or not the community sees you and supports you. You have to know that they do. You have to know that we do.
Yeah.
And as people that care about community, want to engage in our community and support our state, we have stronger communities when we have first responders that are doing this work. And it was, one of my highlights of service, I feel like I'm all about Estacada today, was to be able to fight for funding to help launch and support the stabilization of the Estacada Fire Department. And I, with the former interim chief, before you guys got your permanent chief, I worked with them to try to get funding. And, politics are rough and tumble, hard politics. And I was the House Republican leader. At the end of the budget cycle, I had money in the budget for Estacada Fire Department to buy trucks, right? And they pulled it out at the last minute.
Really?
Before the bill came to the floor, they yanked all the funding out from my community because I was the Republican leader. And they were attacking my community because of my role on behalf of my caucus.
Yeah.
You guys, I have never been so gravely disappointed in the political process than I was right then.
That's the leaders, guys, that are running this state, that they, instead of actually doing something that can help everybody, it's an equal opportunity to help there. They are pulling stuff for their own whims. It's not even for the people anymore.
Strictly
it's just whatever.
Partisan.
Exactly. It's absolute BS.
Yeah.
These are time to get these guys out of there.
It's time to go. And you guys, I fought to get that funding through other means, and we got money into the community. We got the money that we were asking for, but it took months and months and months. And we had to claw over hills and, across valleys to get it done. And it should have gone through the original budget. Like, it was in there, it was settled, final version, they yanked it out, pure politics that hurt a community. I mean, this is a community that was impacted by fire.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
And
that's a big thing too.
They need the support.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a large chunk of money that was given from the federal government out here for all the cities that were impacted by the fire. Malala, Estacada, Detroit.
Yep.
And there were cities like, I think, Hillsborough and things like that got some of that money. They weren't affected by the fires.
Right.
This areas were. I mean, there was Sandy had all the smoke damage and everything else. These are ones we got small chunks of that money, little tiny chunks, and massive millions of dollars went to places like Hillsborough.
Yeah.
I mean, how does that even make sense? This is the problem that we have in there, is that they can't even be fiscally responsible when you have a one party. It's not even balanced. It's absolutely
politics.
Disgusting.
It is politics.
And and I know that we have good people like yourself up there that were definitely fighting for that. But what are you going to do when you have a single partisan type of leadership up there that's going to, my button's not working, just trying to break it on me, but that are going to rip things like out of the way and just basically undermine because they can, and that's absolutely disgusting.
Because they can. You know why they did that? Because they could. That's why they did it.
Yeah.
And it, from my perspective, they were going to hurt this community. And they did it just because of politics, not for any other reason.
I remember when Governor Brown came out here, she snuck out here. She had the opportunity to visit the relief center. She had opportunity to try to speak to some of the leadership.
Yeah.
But because of the action she was taking, I know that. And they popped it up. There it goes. But she just basically kind of snuck out here, got her stuff. Got a picture in a burnout building and ran away.
Oh,
and
wow.
But because of the action she was taking, I think she may have asked if she can come by the relief center after we had already closed it down. It was like Monday, we closed it down on a Sunday, and we're like, oh, sorry, too late, closed down.
Yeah.
So I think that's when the question came in for that. And it's just that just kind of shows you the leadership we have there. So
we need new leadership.
So this right here is for our, coming up right now. It's for our for our
I
firefighters,
love
for our
the
law
eagle.
enforcement.
Yes.
So
We salute you.
yeah,
Yes.
definitely. You need to get like a flag or something. There.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
but yeah, we are reaching at the end of our time here, and so we appreciate you so much coming out here and letting us
Yes.
torch you with our
Yes,
questions.
so good to
Ah!
see you
Let me just
guys.
make sure that we have no one else asking any last minute question. Oh,
Oh, last chance.
nope, it says time's up. Producer's letting us know time's up. Okay, so any last words of wisdom?
So I quickly just want to say
Yes.
it's just so great to be here with you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you
I
so
love
much.
this opportunity. It's been so fun. And I am running to, serve my state. And I need your support. And I love it. I love the opportunity to ask for it.
You
Thank
got
you.
it.
Thank
Awesome.
you guys.
Got
Thank
it.
you so much, guys, and we will see you next time on Wednesday, 7 p.m. next week. We have
Don't
special.
forget Brandy's show tomorrow
was-
night.
Yes,
I was
Brandy.
gonna go for it. You beat me
You
to
do
it.
a lot. You do a lot.
Oh, he
you
does
talk a
that
lot.
so
You
much.
talk a lot.
Yes,
Okay.
Yes, you need to go for it. Tony.
Thank
Jump
you.
in.
So don't
She
forget
stole the
Brandy's
show,
show
didn't she?
tomorrow
She
at
stole
night
the
at
show.
7 o'clock, but you can't hear it because Joel's talking. So, okay.
Brandy!
Brandy, where's your button?
Oh.
Shut him up. Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh, what? Oh, sorry, me.
Yeah, you're talking now.
Here. But what he said was about Brandy's show, but I interrupted. Sorry. Do you want to say it again?
Nope.
Nope.
Go ahead. What's your subject, sis? Kids and how the mandates are affecting them. So it
Ooh.
piggybacks off of what is close to your heart.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't miss it.
Yes, it'll be awesome. And then next week we have special guest Jeremy Freedom.
Woo.
Yep. So hey, let's take one last look at that awesome thumbnail for Christine, and yeah, we'll close up from there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Vote
you.
for her.
Vote for her.
Yes.
Wait.